Hi friends, my name is Bhavya Mangla. I'm IATF qualified auditor doing audit for the automotive sector for the last 18 years. I'm again back with a very interesting topic that is related to action priority, and that is as per FMEA first edition 2019 version. So before going further, it's very important to understand that what exactly this action priority is. So in general, as a layman language, when we talk about action priority, primarily we are trying to uh, identify that which are the risks which are more important for us in comparison to the other risk. If we take some example with respect to our daily life, in general, if we have 10 things to do, we decide that which things should be given the most priority and then second and third and fourth priority. Because we know that if we do the first and the topmost priority thing, then we'll be able to cover majority of the things. There's a very popular book with respect to this, and if you can see this talks exactly about this thing only, that when we do the first or the most important thing, then we take care of the remaining things. And there is a Pareto analysis also which exactly talks about that 80-20 rule, that 80% of the main thing are being done by 20% of the people, and then remaining 80% of the people do the remaining 20% of the thing. Something similar is here with respect to action priority, wherein we need to decide that what are the most important risks that we need to focus on. And why it is important? Because in an organization, there's always a limitation of resources, time, manpower, infrastructure, and everything. So whatever limitations that we are having, based on that, we need to decide what is best. And when we are calculating action priority, there are three key factors that we take into consideration. That is severity, occurrence, and detection. So if you remember, as per FMEA 4th edition, there used to be a terminology called RPN, risk priority number, wherein there was a multiplication of severity, occurrence, and detection. Even though it was a good system, but it had some lacuna in that, because our main focus was on the number that was coming from severity, occurrence, and detection. So to get away with that, in this first edition of FMEA, they came up with a new terminology called action priority, and here they are talking about high, medium, and low. The another important thing with respect to action priority is that herein our focus is first on severity, followed by occurrence and detection. And the main logic is that how we can prevent the failures to happen. And in this, there can be some different combination. It can be with respect to severity and occurrence, severity and detection, and then occurrence and detection. One interesting thing with respect to the action priority table is that the table for DFME and PFME remains same, but table for MSR, monitoring and system response, is slightly different from the other table. And as a thumb rule, wherever the severity is 9 or 10, so it means it is related to safety or some regulatory requirements. So in that, it should be reviewed by the management, and it should include some recommended action that should come out from the management side. Now, as I was talking about the three key things in action priority: high, medium, and low. So when we talk about high priority, so here the intent is that we should give the topmost priority wherever the ranking is coming as high, and we should either identify an appropriate action that needs to be done to improve the prevention or detection, or there should be a logical justification, and we need to document it that why the current controls are adequate and we don't need to take any further action. When we talk about medium priority or M, here again the standard or maybe the manual is focusing on taking some actions after reviewing it. But this slight relaxation here, wherein you can decide whether you want to take some action to improve the prevention or detection, and if not, then you have to justify why the current controls are okay. And when we talk about low priority, primarily it is up to the organization to decide whether any actions are needed or it is not required. So if you look into the action priority table, how to read it, let's do that particular activity. So let's assume that the severity is coming, say, either 9 or 10, because it is related to regulatory requirement or the safety requirement. And we assume that the occurrence of that particular failure can be 4 or 5. And then if we go for the detection part and we identify that the detection is coming 1. Now in this case, when we know the severity is 9 and 10, detection is 5 or 6, detection is 1. And when we look into the action priority table, we'll find that it is coming out to be M or medium. Now, if we slightly increase the detection from 1 to 2, the action priority changes from medium to high. So it all depends upon the actual number that is coming during the CFT review, and based on that, the organization need to define what can be the action priority. And whatever is action priority that is going to come, then it can be filled in that FMEA table, wherein we are talking about all the different things with respect to the failure analysis and the risk analysis. To talk about some of the key challenges that industry is facing with respect to action priority, just like FME 4th edition, here also the focus is that how we can get medium priority or the low priority. So even though the handbook tried to get away with that number game so that the CFT should focus more with respect to the risk, not with respect to the number. But here again, people are focusing on medium and low priority so that they don't need to take any action. And then secondly, still even after so much long time that this new manual has come, people are still not very clear about action priority and how to read that particular table. And there can be many more challenges also. Well, my next video will be with respect to identifying the difference between deviation and concession. In general industry, we are using both the words deviation and concession very commonly, interchangeably. So in my next video, I'll be talking what is the key difference between these two. Regularly, I'm getting a lot of feedbacks from your side and they're helping me to understand your expectations. So please do continue that. And in case you want to understand about this particular video a little bit more in detail, you will find there is a link below. If you click that, you will find a blog there, and there you will find this particular information in much more detail. And in case you are liking these kind of videos and blogs, you can always share with your friends and your colleagues, and you can subscribe to my YouTube channel and my website bhavyamangla.com. Thank you.